I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin. Big changes are on the way over the next 7 days. We're watching a big East Coast storm, and on top of that, we are also looking at finally a warm-up on our way, moving into very early next week. Here's the latest for you. Area of low pressure is going to develop off the North and South Carolina coastline, and our latest thinking is that it's going to stay far enough offshore to have very little impacts on the D.C. metro area. However, significant impacts across South Carolina and North Carolina, where they already have winter storm watches that will likely upgrade to winter storm warnings. Now, this will eventually lift its way off toward the north and east, and on its back edge, moving into Sunday and Monday, it's going to turn very windy across the mid-Atlantic. Could be looking at wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour across the metro area. More on that coming up in just a moment. Let's talk about our snowfall trends over the next 9 days. Not a whole lot, if anything at all, for the weekend. That's when the coastal storm is going to ramp up. But look what happens by the middle of next week. You see that little spike. We're watching a disturbance that has the potential to bring a little bit of snow. We'll keep you updated on that one. So let's talk about our futurecast models. This right here is the European model, and this usually does a little bit better for our winter storms. And we are going to look for that development off the coastline as we head into the day on Saturday. And notice how the snow already beginning across North Carolina advances to Saturday evening at 8 o'clock. This is when the area of low pressure rapidly intensifies or bombs out off the coastline, and it's going to wrap around heavy snow potentially for Norfolk and Raleigh and Charlotte, where they could be measuring snowfall in many inches. But notice how it lifts far enough off toward the north and east, moving through Sunday morning, and it just clips Boston, New York City, glancing below. It looks like it's not going to be impactful there or for Philadelphia in terms of snowfall potential, and then it rapidly lifts on out of here, moving into Sunday night and early Monday. And after that, it's quieter and it's milder around here. Let's talk about those snowfall totals using the European model. Hash mark for the D.C. metro area through 9 o'clock Sunday night. Keep in mind, this is just a guesstimate. It's a tool that we use, a forecast model. Upwards of 7 to 8 inches of snow over toward Norfolk, Roanoke around 4 inches, Charlotte around 6 to 8 inches. Even though those snow totals might not seem ultra high, for these areas, it's very high and very disruptive. And keep in mind, just last weekend, they had a significant icing event. And on top of that, they could be looking at more snow by the middle of next week, south and west of D.C. Snowfall totals a little bit closer in so you can get a better idea. Ocean City, maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow from this weather maker as it moves on out. And it looks like the jackpot zones will be well south of D.C. This right here is the GFS, the American model, not quite as reliable with these winter storms, but painting a similar picture in terms of limited snow amounts, if any, for the D.C. metro. Here's 8 o'clock Saturday evening. This lifts on off toward the north and east, but once again, the heaviest snow, Raleigh, Outer Banks of North Carolina, over toward Norfolk, and then parts of Delmarva, and then it quickly moves on off toward the north and east. Snowfall totals with this system, a little bit less. Norfolk at around 4 inches and Roanoke at around 5. Charlotte consistent with the European, upwards of 6 to 8 inches of snow, with the heaviest amounts hugging the eastern half of North Carolina, or I should say eastern third, over toward the ocean. So yet to see how this all develops over the next couple of days. It's going to be interesting to watch, but you know, a shift between 200 miles or so could be a huge difference up and down the East Coast. A shift farther to the west, that is. Farther to the east, that means less and less chances for snow. Not going to complain about that because the cleanup around here still continues. Here's the American model once again with those snowfall totals. Nothing for Philadelphia, nothing for D.C., and a little bit less over toward Ocean City. After this, the snow, well, we're looking at gusty winds on Saturday. They'll begin 25-30 miles per hour, closer to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, moving into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and early Monday morning. And then things will start to calm down after that with milder air on the way. That surge of cold air is going to begin to break after the weekend, but still plenty cold to the north of us, and it stays frigid cold down to the south over toward Atlanta, Alabama, Mississippi, New Orleans, even Florida. Looking at temperatures in Miami in the 40s for the upcoming weekend for morning low temperatures, and then we'll see that moderation begin. How can we tell? Look at this. By Monday, Tuesday, temperatures mid-30s to around 40 degrees D.C. Now, here's the last 6 days, and you look at Friday of last week, and we had 48 degrees, but below freezing. And today, Thursday, marks day number 6 with temperatures not even making it to 32 degrees. We'll keep that trend going for the rest of this month, and then finally we'll see that warm up as we head into next week. Now, you remember earlier in the month, we had that stretch of mild days from January 6th over toward January 15th, and then the bottom fell out, and then the cold stretch that we're in right now. Speaking of cold temperatures, a cold weather advisory in effect come Thursday night into Friday morning. D.C. Metro, all of southern Maryland, likely to see another one come tomorrow. Here are our morning wind chills for your Friday. We'll see those wind chill factors that are going to be below 0 for many locations, and then we'll warm things up, if you want to call it warm things up, so it's not going to be terribly warm out there with those feels like temperatures in the teens on Friday. Colder yet on Friday. Daytime highs on Friday anywhere from the upper teens to lower to middle 20s, but those winds are going to start to kick up as that nor'easter lifts on off away from our area, and that's why we'll keep those wind chill factors for the most part in the single digits. So Saturday is definitely going to be a very, very cold day. Here's our 10-day temperature trend, and there is hope on the way, although it is going to be a slow go over the next 3 days. Forecast high around 25 degrees on Friday, around 24 on Saturday. Colder off toward the north and west, and then we're nearing 30 on Sunday. But once again, Saturday, Sunday, into early Monday, we're looking at those wind gusts upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour. And then the big melt begins moving into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week with temperatures that will be above freezing. Now, one thing to remember, we'll have a lot of melting going on next week, but our overnight lows or our morning wake-up temperatures are going to be well below freezing. So hard freeze overnight, only in the teens come early Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and then we stay in the upper teens to around 20 moving into Wednesday mornings, but at least those temperatures during the day will be well into the 30s, and that's going to aid in the melting. May have to put a chance for a few snowflakes come later next week, depending how the weather patterns begin to settle out. As always, stay ahead of all of our weather makers. If you don't have your First Alert weather app on your phone, all you need to do is head over to the App Store or Google Play. It only takes about 20 to 30 seconds to upload on your phone, and once you have it, you are good to go. You'll get the latest watches, warnings, and advisories and alerts if you set them to alert you. It's a good tool to have. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin.